Talking. Did you hear me? Were you here? Are you hearing me on the iPad? Because I remember I don't have volume on the laptop. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is there feedback or is that on your side? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Testing 1. So namaskar and good morning, everyone. And welcome to our healing session today. Thank you all for joining, whether you're joining as our Facebook friends, YouTube, or Zoom, wherever you are in your homes today, whatever spaces that you're in. Welcome to our healing session today. It's a joy to be able to share with you some combinations of healing modalities that I have been blessed to have added to my toolbox over the years. So I hope you would support the choices made for us today. Today is the eve of the end of the 40 days, and we have all been on this journey together, which will no doubt continue beyond these days. Today, I hope to share with you gifts of healing shared with me over time, and I hope that you will also be inspired to create a practice for yourselves that will help you to sustain your wellness and your optimal functionality at all levels, body, mind, and spirit. Guruji has taken us through a journey to our holistic selves during these 40 days, helping us to appreciate the body, to work the mind and the tools that come with the supple body and supple fields, and of course to touch and tap into that co-creative space of spirit or soul consciousness. We collectively, consciously co-created a period of transformation, and today's selection helps us to continue along those lines, using breath, mind, movement, posture, and by practicing these ancient teachings, we will be transported to the essence of ourselves. It too will contribute to our inner and outer transformation, not only bringing healing to the body, but also to the heart, to the mind, emotions, and ultimately to our spirit. So today we will do bits of many different modalities. We'll add some Reiki self-healing protocols. We'll do some Qigong postures and movement and gestures that we have entitled through Roger Yankee, who is my Qigong master. And the gestures are entitled The 10 Promises of Qi, and we will talk some more about those promises. We will also do some protocols from energy medicine inspired by Donna Eden, and a little bit of sound healing, a little bit of breath, and of course, movement. As they say, 80% of all of our diseases or illnesses are preventable. So by incorporating all the things that we have learned over our lifetimes, all the things that we have learned in these 40 days, and of course, all the things that you have learned through every weekend session, every morning session that has been offered to you by so many wonderful practitioners, and including today, if you incorporate these things into our lives, we will have healthier and happier lives. As they say, even with the corona virus, the COVID-19, a lot of it is impacting those individuals that have more compromised systems. And even, for those that are maybe healthier, they might be symptomatic, but not in the same ways as those that are having compromised or carrying compromised bodies. So our best bet to survive all of this now and in the future would be to keep our bodies, our minds, our soul, keep our entire holistic self as healthy and as always in a healing space as we can. And we know that in order to truly heal, we need to tap into that source space, that source consciousness, if you will, that spirit self that we carry, that God space inside. And so today, through our practices, we will learn to how to do that using body, breath, and mind. Of course, before we get started, just some quick tips. Some of these you can sit for. Some of them you may want to stand for, but whatever you choose to do, however you choose to do that, will certainly be okay as an individual decision. You can figure out which one works best for you. So wherever you are, let's just close our eyes for a moment, whether you're sitting or standing. And let's just remember why we're gathered here today. You've chosen to be here today. You've chosen to join this session because part of you is searching and looking for something to continue to help you on your journey. So first, applaud yourself, congratulate yourself for making that choice, choosing yourself. So let's bring our right hands together with our left, but there's no space in between. Right representing our past, left our future, and of course coming into this present moment now, where we just focus on the here and now. And as we bring our hands together in the form of prayer, or in the Reiki tradition, Gasho, if your eyes aren't closed, then just close your eyes and relax the body. Observe the breath. And here we talk about the 3 treasures. And that could be many things, different traditions. So the earth on which you stand or sit, and your feet are firmly planted onto the floor. And the tremendous energy that comes from the earth's energy. The heavenly energies. And the boundless sky. And the power that brings. And of course, sandwiched in between heaven and earth, sky and earth, is all of us, heart, mind, space. So sandwiched between the heavenly energies and the earthly energies, coming into our heart, mind, space, let's bring our intentions to mind as we observe the body. We observe our mind. Thoughts, emotions may arise. Just observe them, let them come and let them go. Stay in present moment awareness. Avoid the distractions. Don't be hijacked. And just bring your intention into your minds, into your hearts. Create the emotions that go with the intention. I am here today because I wanted to be here today because, and fill in those gaps. What does it mean for you? Because I want to be healthy. I want to be wise. I want to have my body and my mind operating optimally. I want to tap into my source consciousness, my spirit consciousness. I want to experience my fullness of being, body, mind, heart, and soul. So let's intend today through segment intending for the next 2 hours, hour and a half, that we are going to have a fantastic morning, a wonderful session that brings healing to our bodies, that brings balance and harmony to our emotional space, and that uplifts and transforms all the subtleties in between, bringing awakening to our spirit, our God conscious self. So bring all of you into your intention this morning and envision what the body would feel like at the end of this session and during this session, as energies move in and through every nadi, every chakra, every meridian, into every cell, every organ, every tissue, all billions of our cells. Light and love and peace radiating all through, carrying oxygen, carrying the blood through the systems, but carrying prana or chi, all Reiki energy, life force energy. So let's intend to have the most wonderful session, learning as we go, growing and evolving through the divine dance of energy. May our bodies be able to sustain the energy flow. May our hearts and minds be guided and inspired. And imagine what would happen if we stayed focused for this entire period and really engaged in the process. Wouldn't it be great and wonderful? Take a moment to offer your own intention, your own prayer for yourself for this session. And as you've completed your prayer, you bring your hands to your third eye with surrender, love, and devotion, focusing on that third eye point. Exhaling, bring your hands back to your heart center, heart-mind space. Deep breath in, exhale. One more deep breath. And on the exhalation, you can bring your hands onto your thighs. Just relax them if you're standing. Bring them to the side. And you might want to focus on Gina as we flip screens for a moment. And you'll see with her hands, she's facing her palms backwards. So that as her hands are to the back, naturally there is space between her elbow and her body. And this is an extension of what you did this morning with Guruji and the Wu Chi. So here we are focusing on connecting to that wonderful energy of the universe, energy within and without. And just keep your arms relaxed, feet firmly planted onto the ground, comfortable spacing on the arms, eyes open or closed. So whatever is most comfortable for you. Lengthen the spine. Breathing along the spinal column. Thinking of all the chakras along the spinal column. All the way to the crown. And then that microcosmic orbit as you breathe down, that central channel, that Tai Chi channel of energy movement down the front of the body. And along the back, it's the governing channel, the governing meridian. So energy is flowing up and down the spinal column. Natural breath, breathing in and out. Allow the energy to flow throughout the body. And at the count of three gongs or bells that you will hear, slowly come back to this time and to this place. The first helps us to stay connected to our body sense of body and grossness of body. And the next, stay present in the mind, heart space. And the third, stay connected to that God conscious, spirit conscious space on the inside. Take a deep breath. Relax the body, and again, you can do this. We're moving on to our self-healing protocols, our Reiki protocols. You've been doing this on your healing segments. You can continue to do this, as I said, while you're sitting or while you're standing. So you can follow me or Gina, whichever which way the camera goes. So let's rub our hands together a little bit fiercely so that you can gather some nice heat coming to the palms of the hands. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And bring your hands on top of the head. Just think of all this wonderful life force energy just flowing into your brain, into the cells, the spinal fluid that flows in our brain. Stay connected to that energy space, the intentions of the mind and the emotions, loving the brain, the crown chakra. And in our head, there's so many different neurovascular points that affect our emotional space. And that's connected to all our organs. So as you place your hands on your head, just remember you're connecting. And if you want to press in a little bit, you can. And there's so many different points here that you're connecting to. The back, those two little points at the back, the little indentations on the side of each of the lobes, the electric circuits there, and your power point, that single indentation in the middle of the tube. You place your hands in there Then you press in a little bit. While you're on the head, you just massage the scalp. Gina's going to turn around, so you're going to see Gina as she places her hands. Her hair is going to blocking you there a little bit. You're going to see her, she places her hands on the electrics and those neurovascular points down at the scalp. And then as she moves up to the middle of her head, right around there, where her index finger lies, that's your kidney point. So she can press, and you can press a little bit in there as well. You're impacting or you're activating your kidney organs there. And as you move up an inch or so, you're now connecting to triple warmer or large intestine. And as you move up just a little bit on top, half an inch or so, just on the curve where the head starts to curve, that's your spleen points. And then as you get onto just about the crown area, that's your lungs, your heart, your central meridian, liver, gallbladder, it's all in that area. And if you bring your hands to the two sides of the head, just on the upper part of the head, that's your large and small intestine, kidney, circulatory, sex, organs and meridians are connected there. And as you come straight down, just on top of the ear, that's the spleen. And if you come forward, just between the eyes and the ears, around the temples, that's your triple warmer and your governing meridian area. And if you come down a little bit to the cheekbone on the side of the cheeks, that's the kidney. Liver is just up by the hairline. So as you place your hands on your head, you can think of how you're impacting all the meridians in the body and all the organs that those meridians are associated with. And as she turns around, you can place your hands on the forehead, and right across the forehead represents your frontal neurovascular holding points, also the central stomach and bladder points. You place your hands all across the bladder, just above your eyebrow area. So now as you hold your hands on your head, think about a nice little massage all the way through. And as you're doing that, you're massaging all these organs in your body. You're activating the meridians. And their neurovasculars are connected to the emotional parts of our being. So when you're stressed out, do a nice little head massage, bring some Reiki energy there all through, and think about all those things as you're doing that, bringing the mind into it, just how wonderful those feelings can be. And so adding the emotions to it as well. So when we add emotions to the things that we do, then of course, we just increase the flow of all those beautiful, loving chemicals that we exude inside of us, the happy chemicals, right? All those wonderful things when you add the emotional space to it. So let's just rub our hands together again and bring them over our eyes. And as we send some love to our eyes, all the wonderful work that it does for us. And I'm going to go through these a little bit quicker because of time. So the eyes, of course, and here you can rotate the eyes up and down, around in circles. You can keep them open, you can keep keep them closed. Just feel the energy from your hands just moving into the eyes, resting the eyes. You can move the eyes diagonally, left to right, right to left, up and down, across. So you're exercising the muscles of the eyes. And you're continuing to breathe, so observing breath. Bring your hands over your ears. And of course, in energy medicine, in acupuncture, and all of those touch modalities, the ear is extremely important in self-massaging. So with all the social distancing that we are required to do, and you can't get to your masseuse, these are things that you can do for yourself. You can massage the ear. So you can just place your hands here, or you can just even do a self-massage all the way inside every nook, every cranny of your ear. Because they say when we massage our entire ear, it's like getting a massage of all the organs and tissues in our entire body. The same for our hands and the same for underneath the feet. So these are self-massaging techniques that you can apply. Continue to breathe in and out. Let's bring our hands to our throat center. Throat chakra and all that it represents. Our powerhouse of speech and communication. From a subtle body level, silence and depth. Wonderful listening skills. Connecting to the mind and the Akashic records of the universe. So the mental space of our entire universe. Deep breath in and out. Exhaling, bring our hands just above the breast area here by the lungs. And again, bring some nice energy into that lung space, the heart space. The viruses and whether it's influenza, COVID-19, any of those things that affect our respiratory systems, we want to keep our lungs as healthy as we can. So we want to send lots of love to them. We want to activate all the cells and the tissue and all the lymphatic toxins and the lymphatic system and the toxins moving in and out of our bodies at this point. And then bring your hands down over the breast area. Some people are comfortable holding and touching their breast, and you can do that if you so desire. Some people not so much, so you can just place your hands above the breast area. And continue to breathe. Stay in the present moment. If you feel like you need to bring some more energy into the hands, do so. But as you stay connected to that subtle body, energy space inside, you're bringing energies to the physical body. You're using the mind, you're using the intellect, you're using the thoughts, you're using the imagery and the creativity of the subtle body space to envision and direct energies into these areas. And then just palm width apart as you come down to the entire torso. You can spend about a minute all the way down. And here you can do nice little rotations, little circles. So it's another way of applying massages. As you move to the left, you're thinking of the spleen, you're thinking of the pancreas, and all the organs inside. As you move around the pelvic area, the urinary bladder, you're moving to the right, you're thinking about the liver. For those of you that still have a gallbladder, I don't have one, but I still have the meridian and the energies of that space, so I still have to pay attention to it. So you have your liver that works so tirelessly for us, all these organs that do their work so selflessly. So nice massages, and then of course you can deepen that massage. Maybe not right now because you're more focusing on the energy of Reiki, but you can also deepen that as you're doing your self protocol and self-applied massages through the course of your days and sessions. And then let's not forget our kidneys, so let's warm up our hands again. And we're going to the back and get it as high up as you can. And then just do some swishes so you can carry and capture all the meridians along the back. And you can brush. You can just stay in certain points. Spend a little time, little circles, rubbing, tapping, or just brushing up and down, bringing energy to that space. And then let's think of our legs all the way down to the sides, to the front, the back, the sides all at once, because we're going to do some more work on the legs. So I'm just moving through it very quickly. And so you're bringing Reiki energy to the entire body. That was a pretty quick self-protocol session, but you can certainly think about your own body and spend more time in places that you may be physically challenged with. Some of you may have different ailments or illnesses and diseases that you're dealing with. So spend some more time in those areas so that you can bring more Reiki energy, more life force energy, more healing energy to those areas as well. And one of the profound things about Reiki is that we say that the hands are smarter than the head. And so we allow the hands to be guided to where it needs to go. So I just took you through just some basic protocols. And it was very linear, but while you're doing it, you may feel moved to go to different parts of your body. And so listen to where the energy is taking you. Listen to where the hands want to go. I might have you here, and then I may move here, but your hands want to come back here. So that means your body's telling you something. And one of the things that we've recognized about our mind, our bodies tell us so much. There is so much information in our bodies, and so much information that's happening all around us because we're living in such an interactive world. So there's so much that we can gain by listening to our bodies and following the various protocols. So now that we've done a little bit of that, I want to walk you through some of Donna Eden's work in terms of energy medicine. So I'm just going to grab my chair here and just walk you through. So Donna Eden's work, you can take a seat wherever you are and you can come back. Donna Eden's work is really centered on the body's energy anatomy. And it's very complex, as you know yourselves. And she focuses on 9 different energy systems. So she says that in our auric field, in our bodies, there are, and around and inside, there are many different energy systems. So there's the electrics energy system, and this is sort of like a spark in our energy system, right? They're the chakra system that many of us are familiar with, right? Just pools of energy that bathe our organs and stores memories and so much information in all of these systems. There is the auric field, and we know about our auric field, right? So that's the shield that surrounds us and protects us at times. It attracts energies to us that we need. And sometimes, in that auric field, there's also lots of hurt and pain. So everything that we experience in our heart-mind space, every emotional wound that we have, every trauma that we've experienced, it not only gets lodged in our bodies, in our organs, in our inner systems, but it also affects the space around us. So when we think about our space, we need to think about healing the auric field as well. And so sometimes there are disruptions in our auric field, and those disruptions can cause illnesses as well and cause us to not function optimally. So we want to think about that. And in energy medicine, there are lots of tests, energy tests that we can do for all our meridian systems and for the auric field as well to see if there's any disruption there. And then there's the Celtic Greave system, a connective tissue of our energy systems. And she also talks about the triple warmer, and we'll talk about that a little bit. We won't have much time to get into that today, but triple warmer, we'll touch on that in Qigong. You touch on that during the course of the other programs that we've done, the medical Qigong sessions that you've had with Anupriya and Prema Devi and all of them. And of course, the triple warmer is one of those protective systems that kick in to help us. It is the fight, flight, or freeze response that our bodies, automatically engages in order to protect us, right? So something happens, and what do? We either run, right, if we're in a chaotic situation, or we feel that we are being our safety is being is in a position of being questioned, and so our bodies automatically respond. There are chemical responses that happen. The adrenaline pumps, and what do? We either get ready to run, to flight, or we get ready to fight, or sometimes we just freeze. We can't move, we can't do anything, we just totally freeze. And that's when triple warmer is kicking in to protect us. But what happens when we are stressful? So when we're going through stressful times and hurtful times and painful times, like this virus and these social distancing that we've had to do, and where we're away from our loved ones, and think about, all those people suffering in the hospitals, and I work in a hospital, so I experience it firsthand. All those people that's suffering or dying alone, and the families, and all the pain that's out there. And if you think that we are all connected, then think about the pain that the entire world right now is experiencing. And so our triple warmers are overactive, because every time we get anxious, or we feel pain, or we feel sadness, or we feel threatened in any particular way, even emotionally, the triple warmer kicks in. And so sometimes the triple warmer is overactive, and the overactive triple warmer can also have a negative impact on us. So we can learn of ways in which to calm the triple warmer down. And triple warmer, of course, is very closely related to spleen. So we know that we need the spleen, especially active and highly functioning, because it is the organ that produces all the immune system, chemicals that we need, the cells, the T cells, and all of that, in order to fight off, internal warriors, if you will, that's trying to harm us and harm our cells. So we need to keep the spleen very healthy, and we can do some tapping around that and talk about that. And of course, then there are radiant circuits that Donna Eden also talks about, energies of harmony and joy, just creating love inside of us. And one of the things that she says, and I think science says this as well, that really creates that radiant circuit, or activates that radiant circuit inside of us, is that feeling of falling in love. So for all of you that have been in love, or still in love, and now that you're socially distancing inside, and you're hopefully building that love relationship with your partners and your children and your families that you're forced to be in quarantine with, you would be activating those radiant circuits. And so you'll be creating more harmony and joy inside of you. So that's also another way of looking at radiant circuits. So how do we activate that? How do we constantly keep that feeling of love, so that we are activating the radiant circuits to its maximum? And of course, finding love, not just for people outside of us or things outside of us, but ultimately love for ourselves. And doing the self-healing protocols that we just went through with the Reiki, that helps us to do that. It helps us to bring love to ourselves, that universal love, postures that we have, just bringing love through the organs and bringing your hands, your healing hands there, helps to increase that flow, that ease and flow of grace and love inside of us. And so we're activating and creating harmony and joy. And then, of course, there's the 5 rhythm system. So Donna even talks a lot about, those many energy systems. So if you think of your entire being as energy systems, everything we do, everything we say, every action that we perform has an impact on these energy systems, internal and external. And we also know that people's energies affect us as well, because we are transmitters of energy, and everyone is transmitters of energy. So we are always receiving, and we're also transmitting at the same time. So recognizing, being aware, being the witness of what types of energies we are transmitting out, and what type of energies we are receiving or allowing ourselves to receive. So if our auric field isn't nicely wound, protecting the energies and people, or just all the negativity that's around us, the electromagnetic energy fields with all the technology things that's happening around us and that exist around, those energies also impact us. So we have to constantly be vigilant about how we can protect ourselves from all these energy fields. you know, all these other energies coming into our field. And of course, the subtle energies that we're sometimes not aware of. But all these form the dynamic infrastructure of our physical, mental, emotional, and of course, our spiritual body. So we need to think about the flow, the balance, harmony of these energies and how it's reflected in the health of our body, in the health of our minds, in the health of our emotional space, and of course, having a healthy spiritual experience. So when the body is not healthy and there are disturbances in its energies, these can be identified and be treated using acupuncture, looking at and doing Reiki, doing acupressure, you know, looking at the biofeedback methods that exist and how our bodies become a biofeedback, you know, source of information as well. So just thinking about all those various things. So of course, we don't have time for an entire big class on energy medicine today, but I hope you just have a little snippet there so that you can think about that. And so the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to share with you is what we call some daily energy routines that the more or the sicker you are, we should do these more often. If you're not that sick, but of course, all of this is prevention, right? We said 80% of all ailments that we have in the world are preventable. So if we do these daily energy routines regularly, twice a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, we'll go through quite a few different methodologies. You don't have to do all of them all the time, but you should try to do at least a few of them. This can last us maybe no more than 6 minutes, 10 minutes tops, morning and evening. Whenever you get a chance, wherever you are, your bodies, your mind, your hands may naturally go to a certain place, tapping away somewhere. So just think about, as you're doing this, again, bringing your whole being into the exercise, mind, body, and of course, spirit, and emotions of it. Think about all the points that we are going to be tapping into, or we're going to do some press and buzzing into those areas, or some, you know, some brushing, whatever it is that we're going to do with these areas. Just think about how you can, how the impact that you're having on your body and the cells and the organs and the tissues, and a lot of these also connected to various meridians in the body. So of course, we'll do as many of them as we can, and you can focus on Gina as he's going to switch up that screen a little bit, and we'll do a back and forth here. So one of the first ones that we are going to do, and Gina's going to demonstrate, is the crossover shoulder pull. And the crossover shoulder pull connects the energies of the body with the energies of the earth. So right hand goes over the left shoulder, and we, a little bit of pressure, draw that energy across the body. Left hand over the right shoulder, drawing the energy across the body down to the hips. And of course, by continuing to do this, you want to do this for a couple seconds, you're boosting the energy in the stomach area. So part of the whole 4 thumbs and the grounding is all impacting the stomach and various meridians that we'll talk about. So whenever you have, you know, worry or distress or anything that where you feel like the body's being drained, then please, you can use this as a very simple method to help ground the body even more. Just leaving, you know, whenever you feel that energy is draining from the body, just do this a little bit. Strengthens the spleen meridian. And of course, we talked about the spleen meridian before and how important it is, especially for us in these days and times. And the spleen meridian feeds other meridians. So we want to make sure that we have a very healthy spleen meridian. You should do this when you feel ungrounded, when you're dealing with excessive worry. You want to make the spleen meridian stronger. When you're generally feeling weak, this would be a good time. So that's one of the many groundings methodologies that you can adapt into your life of the daily energy routines. Another one, as we move on to, is the 4 thumbs. So for the 4 thumbs, we're going to start with our stomach meridian, which is just about the cheekbone. So you can just tap into the cheekbone. Again, you don't have to tap very, very hard, but you want to activate the energies, right? So you want to do a little bit of pressure there. So tapping into the cheekbone and then coming down into your K27, which is that point right below the collarbone, just underneath the collarbone. There's a little indentation there, find it, and tap into that. We call it K27. It is the ending point of the kidney meridian. So you know the kidney meridian starts at the ball of your feet and it ends up here. K27 helps to make sure that the meridians are flowing forward instead of irregular patterns. So tapping into K27 is extremely important. They are junction points. Stimulating them helps to reestablish a better flow through our entire meridian system. And it helps us to restore our energy and increases strength, vitality, and of course bolsters the immune system that we need so badly right now. Whenever you're feeling drowsy or lack of energy, or you have problem concentrating, or you get tired quickly, you can tap into your K27. The next one is your thymus thumb. So the thymus thumb is right by the sternum. You're going to tap into that space. It stimulates our thymus gland, supporting our immune system again. Extremely important in these times. So these glands make our T cells and helps the body fight disease. Supports your body as it immobilizes around threats to your health and helps your body handle stress and shock. So it also stimulates your heart chakra energetically, enriching the heart, and of course it's in that heart space. So when you feel low on energy or you need a boost to your immune system, you feel tired and you want to restore your strength and vitality, you want to relieve stress, just tap into that area whenever you had some shocking news. The next point is your spleen point, which is just below the breast area, or if you think about it, under your armpits, 4 inches down. Just tap into that spleen meridian. This is spleen 21. It governs our metabolism, our blood flow, infections and inflammation in the body. Again, supports our immune functioning. So if the spleen meridian is weak, you're more vulnerable to illness. Spleen meridian also helps to support the spleen in its work of overseeing the body's ability to metabolize energies. And when we metabolize energies, we're thinking of metabolizing, working through emotional energies, thoughts, stresses, various experiences. The spleen helps us to do that, not just metabolize food. And of course, the active lymph system is necessary to clear toxins that are interfering with the actions of the stomach. So when you need an energy lift, you suffer from some blood chemistry issue, or you have some autoimmune disease, fatigue, chronic fatigue, or you feel faintish, or you want to reduce a fever, or metabolize any sort of toxins, regain control from centering, the spleen is a great point on their 4 thumbs. So let's review really quick. Gina is going to go through the 4 thumbs. Stomach, K27, thymus, spleen. You can do that as quickly as you can, just spending seconds on each one. The next one she's going to demonstrate for you is our cross crawl. So cross crawl, right hand, left knee, left hand, right knee. Energy crosses from the left hemisphere of the brain to the right side of the body, and from the right hemisphere to the left side of the body. Cross crawl balances and harmonizes energy. It improves coordination and actually clears up our thinking. So when you want to have better balance, some of you have written to me and talked about issues with balance and coordination. This is something you should be doing quite often. You want more energy, you want to balance right and left brain functionality, that's a good one to do. So let's take a moment there and just pause. And just, as you pause, just monitor your bodies, the energy. What does it feel like? Remember, you're holistic, so keep the physical, keep the mental and emotional space going. Feel happy that you're moving these things through the body. So what these daily energy routines help us to do, it helps us to move the lymph out of the system. We talked about keeping our lymphatic system nice, healthy, and strong and functioning optimally. So by moving and tapping into these areas, we are moving the toxins out of the body. And the toxins have to move through the blood. It has to move through, gets we activate the liver to help us to also deal with toxins in the body. And of course, ultimately coming through the kidneys and exiting the body. So when you think about all the organs that are needed in order for us to really metabolize, for us to really have a healthy lymphatic system is so important. And we need all the other organs to be functioning as well to really help us to expel all these toxins that collect in the body. When we think of the heart circulates blood, and it is the pump that allows the blood to move through the body. So we need to have a highly functional heart as well. The lymph, unfortunately, there is no pump. Pump is movement. And if you have a very sedentary job like I do, and especially with social distancing, I am stuck in my office for 15 to 20 hours sometimes a day. I walk around very little because, again, social distancing, so I spend time in my office. I don't walk outside as much. So there's a lot of, it's a sedentary lifestyle, which impacts on the weight. So I need to do a lot more spleen tapping to manage my metabolism from a weight gain perspective. But also, because I'm sitting so much, these toxins can also collect in my bodies, and I can feel the pain from just my body structure, my body posture, how I sit at my computer all the time. So a couple of weeks ago, I was almost immobilized. I could not move, just got up, and I could not move my right hand because I'm on the computer a lot, my posture. I had spent about 20 hours for the last 3-4 days prior to that, at work, and I recognized the impact it was having on my body. And I needed to take time to just allow my body to relax and to do some of that tapping and to do some of my Qigong to really start moving the toxins out of my body. So I know many of you probably experience the same thing to different degrees, but again, pay attention to your body because our bodies, it's a wealth of information about our emotional state. It's a wealth of information about our physical state, and it's a wealth of information about our spiritual awakening state and spiritual life as well. So it tells us about relationships with ourselves, with others, how we're being impacted. So really monitoring the body, paying attention is so extremely important. So those were some of just a few of them. Now we're going to do another one called the Wayne Cook posture. As the name would indicate, this is a methodology that was created by someone called Wayne Cook. So there are a couple different versions to this one. And so Wayne Cook, again, these are daily energy routines that you can do before you're going to make a speech. If you want to center and ground, it's another way to do that. So I find an easy way to remember this is I place my hands out in front of me, parallel hands. Then I crisscross, so I bring them over. And I intertwine my fingers, but notice, so I go from here. I bring the right hand and the left, where the palms are facing each other. I intertwine my fingers and I bring my hands into my chest and they're resting right around my K27s. I will also, you can't see my legs probably, you might see Gina's. I cross my legs and I do some deep breath in and out. 2, 3, or 4. Sometimes as you're doing it, your body might want an extra breath. So pay attention to the body. Release the leg, release the hands, and now the opposite way. So if you went right onto left, do the opposite now. So the left is on top, intertwine, bring it in, and now you're going to cross your legs the other way. And again, deep breath in. Sometimes as you're doing the breath, you'll start to yawn. That's okay. It means energy is moving. It's a good thing. And release. And now bring your hands up to your forehead and your third eye again. So placing our 2 thumbs right on the third eye area and forming it sort of like a triangle on the third eye. And so again, centering, pay attention to Gina. She's giving you a look of what that looks like and the things that you can utilize this for. So when you're doing the Wayne Cook, it's designed to link energies of the back brain with those of the front brain because it involves crossing your arms and your legs, breathing deeply, and holding the feet. So points on most of the meridians are stimulated. It provides support for integration of your body and your mind. It's helpful for grounding. And since we're making contact with the K27, it's a prime grounding point. And because your feet are on the floor, you're also tapping into K1, the start of the kidney point. So when the back and the front brain are not communicating properly, a person's energies are scrambled. And the action of placing your thumbs on your third eye and breathing deeply, so keeping your hands on your third eye, breathing deeply, it helps to correct that scrambled energy while harmonizing the energies between your head and your body. Energies may become scrambled if you have been under prolonged stress or your nervous system has not had the necessary rest it needs to rebuild. So energy scrambling is also a defense mechanism that forces us to stop what we are doing and to regroup. For others, crossover patterns in the brain are not strongly established to begin with. So a scrambled state prevents the assimilation and storage of information because the brain and its energies are disconnected. So if you're scrambled, your energies can scramble also the people around you. So that's how we also impact. And what are some of the symptoms of being or experiencing a scrambled state? Feeling overwhelmed, finding yourself crying or exploding for no reason, quite emotional. You can't think clearly, you can't remember things, you can't keep track of what you're doing, cannot easily understand what you just read or heard, you falter in saying what you mean, you're confused between left and right, you can't find the right words. People who are dyslexic tend to have this a lot. So doing this, the Wayne Cook posture would be very, very helpful. If you do this before reading or studying something, it helps you to absorb and retain. It helps you to articulate your thoughts and find the right words when you feel overwhelmed or you're feeling, emotionally hijacked in some ways. This will also help you. Awesome. So from here, Gina's going to go into crawling her fingers into the third eye area across the forehead. And we're just going to press in and draw that energy out to the temples and release. So from here, we're going to go straight, releasing the energies, clearing that brain fog out, and then coming to the point of our hairline and pressing in and do a little bit of a pressure pressing. And then all the way along the middle of your scalp, middle of your brain, you're going to pull the two parts, left and right hemisphere of the brain. You're just energetically pulling them apart. This allows for energy to flow in the brain. It allows for the cerebrospinal fluid to start moving around. As you breathe, the plates in our skull starts to move. So you want to shift things around so that you're allowing for energy to flow. You're allowing for pranic energy, allowing for oxygen to flow into the brain. So you want to be able to utilize this. And of course, keep going down to the back of the neck and all the way down. Come to the shoulders. Hang there for a little bit. Always continuing to breathe. And as you exhale, just draw the hands in front of your heart. And you can repeat that one more time. So Gina's gonna follow, you're gonna follow Gina. She repeats this one more time. On your own, you can do this 2 or 3 times. So when we breathe and the plates in the skull move subtly with each inhalation and exhalation. So pulling apart just a little bit along the lines, that subtle cranial adjustment helps to pump the spinal fluid into the brain and also helps to oxygenate the brain. When the skin on the scalp becomes tight, the muscles on the head can become quite rigid. So the movement of the skull plates can be impeded as everything gets tight and rigid. Either way, we can get clogged mentally and energetically and become stuck in our head. And that's when we experience brain fog. So doing the crown pull helps to release stuck energies and provide support to the natural movement of the skull plates. It also relieves mental congestion and headaches, clears and refreshes the mind, sharpens memory, and opens the crown chakra to higher inspiration. So that's a wonderful thing that we can utilize for so many different things in our experiences. So now you're gonna, again, very quickly, we're going to go through this. So there, if you go online, you will find information on neurolymphatic reflex points. The reflex points are really critical because as you press into these reflex points, you're going to add a little bit of pressure into these reflex points throughout the body. You are connecting to every meridian in your body, and every meridian is associated with an organ, right? So you have 14 meridians, and they are connected. 12 of them are connected to organs in our bodies. So when you're doing these presses, whether you do a press buzz is when you press and you buzz it, right? We call that a press buzz. You can tap into it. If there's a very sensitive area, or you're hurt, or you're physically injured in some way, you can just massage, you can just even place your hands on it, you can do a little bit of rubbing on it, right? So these are things that you can utilize to also tell a story about your body, and tell a story about where energies in your body can be stuck. So it's stagnating, where there's too much energy, so that it is making the organs overactive, which means that it's distressed. It can also mean that in certain parts of the body you have too little energy, so there's a deficiency of energy flowing through the meridians, which means that there is a deficiency in energy moving into those organs, which means that our organs are not functioning optimally. And you will see some, again, some of the flashes that you had on the screen just brings all the acupressure points into the body. So if you take a look at, and you go online and you do some research, or Shiv, you can pull us up to one of those screens, slides that show all the acupressure points. Our entire body is acupressure points. And all the way along, even from our kidney, right? K1 under the foot, K27 all the way up here, and all the way along the body. Spleen is the same, gallbladder is the same, from the top of the head all the way down to the tip of the feet, along the arms, you know, the heart meridian, the lung, all those meridians. So any one of those points on those meridians, if any one of them happen to be distressed, anyone has too much energy, too little energy, or energy is frozen, then that's going to impact the flow. Okay, so really quickly, focus on Gina, because I'm going to walk you through, or Shivi also has the slide up on the screen, so you can take a look at that. So if you look up on the, just below the clavicle, up there, you'll see 3 points. That's your stomach meridian, your governing, and your heart reflex points. These are all neurolymphatic reflex points, helping the lymph to move through the body and the toxins. So tap into that. You can do a three-finger approach, and that helps you to tap into that space right there. You get all 3 of them all at once. Then if you move to the side, you will see on the side of the shoulders there, that's where your kidney is. So you can use your hands from one side. Use your right hand on your left. I have a little bit of aching and pain there, so I know I got to pay attention to my kidneys, and I know I've not been drinking a lot of water. So I can imagine that that is true. It's telling me a story. So right on the upper part of the shoulder, right on the inside there, that's your kidney. As you go along, come back to along the sternum area, the very top where you had your K27. So that would also be part of your neurolymphatic reflex points. And as you go down the body, you have the central meridian there. You also have the lung right by along the sternum point there. So if you press into these areas, circulation sets on the arms, the upper arm, and right, so coming back onto the upper torso, just around the breast area there, you have your circulation sex area or meridian point, and it is also a neurolymphatic reflex point. As you go under the breast area, that is along, again, stomach, right underneath the breastbone there. And if you go all the way across, you'll get to your spleen. So you can just even just, you know, tap into or press buzz along the entire line of the underneath that breast area, breast line area. And then if you were to look at the curve on the stomach, right there, as you get to the end of that curve, there's the small intestine. So you can do the 2 points on the left and the right side together. And again, pay attention to where there might be a little bit of pain or discomfort. So again, I have a little bit there, so I can feel that in my small intestine. And then let's find our navel. So when you find your navel point, just an inch outside left and right, that's your bladder. So press into that. See what that feels like. 1 inch above that is your triple warmer, your adrenals. And 1 inch above that is the kidney point. So see if any of those feel tender. And then out to your hip area on the left side is your Houston valve. The right side is your iliocecal valve. Press into that, and that's all to do with stomach. And energy is moving again. So that's sensitive. Mine is, but that makes sense to me because my small intestine is also sensitive. And then come down to just above the pubic bone there, and that is your circulation sex meridian point and also bladder. So press into that. And then on the outside of the leg, you can tap. Gina is being very tender there, but you want to apply a little bit of pressure because she's not going to feel anything with a little touch, touch, touch. So you want to really tap, or you really want to do a deep tapping with your 3-finger notch into that area. On the inside of the leg, just above the knee, that's your small intestine. As you get further up, it's your circulatory sex. So any of these areas that felt a little bit pressured, if you do the back, remember as high as up you can go, you can get the kidney. And there is an entire series of points on the back of the body as well. So when social distancing is lifted and you go for a nice massage, someone can do a nice spinal flush and they can tap into all these points for you. Or if you're at home and you're close to your keeping 6 feet distancing, I don't know how you're going to try that, but if you get somebody to do those points for you and they're facing your back, then it should be safe, and touch the points and get those activated. So that's your neurolymphatic reflex points. So those are some of the what we do in our daily energy routine. There are a bunch more, but time is running out on us. And I know that we have a Qigong practice, which obviously is going to be a little bit fast-tracked today as well. So for those of you, again, let's start. So I'm shifting us now from energy medicine, and I'm moving into a Qigong practice. And this is the 10 promises of Qi. And Qigong, as you know, Qi represents universal energy or life force. And of course, Gong is about cultivating, building, growing the energy. So when we do Qigong and the postures and the movements, it's all about cultivating and growing that energy inside of us. It is about expanding our awareness. It is about becoming body aware, moving to mental, mind, heart, space awareness, and moving, of course, to spiritual awakening. So there, in these 10 postures that we will do, or 10 gestures that we will perform, the first 3 if you do these with that type of awareness, the first 3 are really grounding, and they help us to become more body aware. When you get to the 4th to the 6th gestures or postures, these take us through the heart mind space. And it helps us, so you think about the 3 gestures that we talked about: heaven, earth, and of course, heart, mind in the middle. So earth is very body related, the first 3 postures. The next 3 postures are mind and heart space. And so that's the emotional space, right? That's the mental space. That's the thinking space. So if we think about the 40 days and all the things that came up for us, all the karmic patterning that we have, the belief systems, the thought processes, the things that we have created for ourselves, and all these things are coming up. And while you're doing your Qigong practices, just like when you're doing your meditations, you're doing your breath work, we become the observers and we watch as all these things awaken inside of us. And then when we get to the last 3, these are the transformational pieces that really bring us into connecting with spirit energy, right? We started earlier with the Wuchi, and you started this morning with so many of the wonderful practices from Gurji, really tapping into that Wuchi energy. So before Qigong and Tai Chi and all of that came into play, Wuchi was the first, and Wuchi represents life force energy, cosmic energy, right? It is one. It's about oneness. And so that's what Wuchi represents. And of course, as we get into posture and movement, then Wuchi, thinking about universal consciousness, started to break down and started to collapse into more and more gross existence. And so we eventually come into two, which is Tai Chi. You come into three, then you come into four, and then they say when you come into 10, it is like coming into this world of everything. So God consciousness, absolute reality, however you want to call it, collapsed into coming into grosser and grosser forms, and manifesting ultimately in all of life force here on this earth. So that's the whole idea with Qigong. It's that we've come from one, it still exists inside all of us and everything around us, the trees, the sky, the water, the mountains, right? So when we're gathering energy, as we will be doing in these postures, you're gathering from all of life force. You're bringing in the energy from all of life into yourself. You're bringing in the energy from the earth into yourself. You're bringing in the energy from the heavens into yourself, and you're integrating that energy in our bodies, in our minds, in our mental and emotional space. And of course, that energy represents that divine life force energy that is the ultimate healing energy, whether you call it God's energy, you call it Chi, you call it Prana, it is that life force energy and consciousness that is working in and through us. So we need to tap that so that we can awaken the healer within. That's the absolute power inside of us, and of course, power outside. So let's again start our process of first posture. So the names that you will hear will be discover, gathering, and circulating chi. Pay attention to Gina, and Shivi will go back and forth with Gina and myself. So you're discovering chi. You're standing in that Wuchi position, you're back there. Legs are together. And you're just connecting to earth, energy below, heaven above. Think of your head connecting to the heavens above, the earth's energy beneath your feet. And so you're feeling, and of course, your heart space. So earth's energy is representative of your lower dantian, and that is just below the navel area. And then heart mind space or energy is connected into the heart chakra, and that heart, the dantian, the middle dantian. And then the upper dantian, of course, is connecting to the heavenly energies above. So the focal point of three dantians, which is three areas in which energy is stored. Earth's energy is stored in the lower. Heart, mind energy is stored in the middle. And heaven energy is stored in the upper. And so these are pools of energy constantly working. So now Gina's going to bring her hands together in the form of an energy ball right in front of the lower dantian. And as she does that, she's going to shift her weight. I'm going to shift my weight. We're all going to shift our weight to our right leg. And open, meaning lift the left leg and extend it out to the side. And here, pay attention to your three intentful postures. Again, lengthen the spine, feet firmly grounded onto the floor, spine erect, shoulders drop, nice and relaxed. Fingers are what we call Tai Chi fingers, so they're very relaxed. As you hold your ball in front of you, you're discovering Chi. Breathing in and out. Bringing your hands back to your sides with palms facing backwards. And here you're going to rock forward and rock backwards. So as we bring our hands up, we rock forward. As we bring our hands down, we rock backwards. So when you're rocking forward, you're moving onto the ball of your feet and your toes. When you're rocking backwards, ball of your feet and your heels with your toes pointed upwards. So nice and slow. All this helps discover, to recognize the chi flowing in and through your arms, your hands, your body. It starts to move, energy starts to move. So chi represents that life force energy. And so some of you may experience this in the form of heat. I experience it in the form of heat because I've been doing this for a little bit. And of course, with all the Reiki and other energy modalities, I experience it, and some of you will experience it the same. Some of you might experience it as chills. Maybe there's a heaviness in the hands, there's tingling in the hands. All these things are different ways in which you experience chi. Some of you may experience nothing, but it doesn't mean that nothing is happening. So remember to bring your heart mind into it and just tap into that wonderful energy that's flowing. So that's discovering your chi. It's like painting a wall. One more up. And as we get to the up position, just above the heart, bring your hands back into your ball, your chi ball. And now we're going to extend the arms out to the sides. We're going to keep our back and the spinal column nice and straight. And we're going to gather from the earth. So we're going to bend down. And again, if you can't bend or you're sitting on a chair, where the mind goes, the energy goes, right? So just think about that. Gather energy from the earth. Bring that energy into your heart, mind, space. And let that rest. And now you open your heart. You open to the heavens. And you're gathering energy from the heaven space. Take a moment, collect and connect to the heaven space. Bring that energy down, down the third eye, down the throat, down into the heart, mind space. And open again. And we're going to gather one more time, down into the earth, keeping the spine nice and straight. As low as you can go, bring it into the heart space, open to the heavens. And remember to breathe, find your own rhythm. Bring that into the body, into the heart, mind. Extend the arms down into the earth. You're gathering, bringing to the heart, opening up to the heavens. And as you come back to the heart space here, just pause and drift. Think about how the body feels, what's happening in the body, where does the energy feel. And now make a slight turn to the left, keeping that energy ball going. And now you're going to circulate that chi. So we're going to circulate out, push the body forward, and then draw energy back. You still have that chi ball along the torso, down the left leg, drawing energy from the earth, circulating the energy along the organs and the meridians, pushing out, drawing back in, into the heart, mind space, along the body, bringing heaven and earth back in. And now we're going to pivot and go to the right side. So extending out by pushing the body forward. So I'm not pushing my hands per se, I'm pushing my body. And then my hands come back. I'm bringing energy into the body. Come back, bringing that chi ball back to the heart mind space. Just pause there for a second. Adjust the body once more. So you want to make sure the pelvic bowl or your pelvic area is nice. It's not too far back or too much forward, but it's centered nicely. Shoulders are relaxed. Fingers, Tai Chi fingers, so relaxed fingers. Spine is nice and tall. Head is on top of the shoulders. Our head weighs about 14 pounds. So if we put our head this way, our body is carrying weight that it doesn't need to, our shoulders. You bring it back right where it needs to be, and then the spine carries the weight. So a nice spot to pause and think about the energy moving in and through the body. So these were the first 3 promises of Qi. The first one was discovering, recognizing that we all have this Qi or this life force energy moving in and through us. It is accessible to all of us. It is free, and it is the most profound medicine that we can possibly get, and we can never pay for it, because it is inside of us that we are cultivating and growing. It is around us that we are gathering and bringing into us. So we have to make that effort, and we know when we make effort, grace flows. So that's the promise. This is equivalent to the caterpillar that is just crawling on the ground. It can't see much. All it thinks about is its physical existence, the grossness of the body. It thinks about its circumstance with very little thought about what its full potential is. It doesn't even think about the butterfly it will become or the wings that it will grow. So that's your first 3 promises. You discover, you can gather, you can bring this energy and grow this energy from around you, from the profound heavens, from the depth of the earth, from the everything around us, from the mountain, from the skies, from the water, from the rivers, from the oceans, from people that are, highly energized. We can gather all that energy into our heart space. And we're integrating heaven and earth into our heart mind space. And now we're going to go from right hand to the heart space. We're going to go to the 4th stage, or Qi promise, which is purifying. So think about all those belief systems, all those negative thoughts that we carry, all the karmic patterning, all the things that doesn't serve us well. So much of that has come up for all of us during this 40 days, I am sure. And because we are all students searching and seeking, we know it's been coming for a long time. So now we have an opportunity. As you breathe in and breathe out, and you feel and you connect to that energy, now your caterpillar is building its cocoon, where it's creating transformational energies. So let's purify our inner space. Think about all those things that no longer serve you. And as you breathe out, we're going to push them out. So as you breathe out, you sink into your knees and you push them out, keeping your arms a little bit firm. For those that can't stand, you can recognize you can do this sitting as well, right? Breathing in, bring that back into our heart space. You're bringing in fresh energy into the heart mind space. You're rebuilding. Breathing out, push up into the heavens. Give it to the heaven. Exchange, let the heavens bring you profound energies so that you can re-assimilate and you can renew and you can rebuild and you can bring new thought patterns into the heart mind space. Take a nice deep breath, and now you're going to push out all those things that does not serve you. Let it go, release. Draw something beautiful in from your heart mind space around. Deep breath in, exhaling, pushing down into the earth, all those things that no longer serves you. Purifying, bringing in. Let's do that one more time. Out to the sides. Bring into the heart. Up into the heavens. Drawing down into the heavens. Deep breath in, exhaling, pushing out in front. Drawing in something lovely inside. And pushing out, breathing out. So purifying the energy within. And now we're going to a next phase of this transformational cocoon that the caterpillar creates. Think about directing that energy. So we're right here. Let's rub our hands together. And we're going to direct this energy along the yang channels and all the organs, up over the head, down the back of the head, down the neck, across the shoulders, under the armpits, down to the back, spleen, kidney, and all those points along the back of the leg, down the back of the leg. You can't see me, I'm going down to my toes, around my toes, and up the inside of my leg. And I'm coming back up. I'm going to do that one more time. So the yang channels, yin and yang. As I go down, I'm connecting to Earth's energy, which is yin energy. I'm coming up into heart mind space, going up into the heavens, yang energies. One more time. And now as we come back up to the heart space, shift to the left, creating that, you're still with your energy ball. And now you're going to direct out, extending the left arm, channeling, tracing the energy along all the meridians in the arms, across the face, extending the right hand, the right arm, tracing the energies along the meridians, along the arms, up the shoulders, across. One more. So you're directing that energy. Fingertips coming back. Just one more. And to the back, pivot back to the front. And now we're going to conserve. So in this space of our cocoon, where we've recognized all the causal body and all the karmic patterns that have been stored there, the memories that are stored there, everything that's stored within that we need to release and we need to shed, just like the cocoon, that caterpillar is getting ready to shed. So that energy is moving, and we need to conserve the energy because we need to break through our cocoon. And so as we go through this transformational process, we're conserving. And as we conserve, because we've learned so much about ourselves, we become the witness to all that is happening. So bring your energy ball together. You're going to drop the left hand, and like this. The right hand comes up like this, our fingers are apart. So it's like you're pushing the wave, and we're moving our waist. So we're not really moving the hands, but the hand's going to move with us. Twisting at the waist, bringing the hands, the fingers to the eye level. Clouds passing. So you become very reflective. As you get to the side, you make your Tai Chi ball, they pass on its way. You're dropping the right hand. Now the left hand becomes your cloud. And the right hand becomes your wave. Your knees are bent. And as you get to the side and you start to make your chi ball, your eyes go at a distance so that you're exercising your eye muscle. The left hand drops, the right hand becomes your cloud. And in between my fingers, I'm observing. I'm observing all of life that's passing before me like the cloud. And I can see through everything. For my Tai Chi passing hands. One more time. And then as I look out into the distance, I can see even further. I'm not affected by any of it, but I'm just the witness, and I'm observing all of life just happening, and I am the witness. And I'm conserving all of that energy, not judging, not expending it in the wrong way. Bring your Tai Chi ball back together. You have just conserved your energies. So we've purified, we've directed the chi throughout our body channels and meridians and organs. We have conserved that energy because we're going to break through the shackles. We're going to break through the cocoon. And we're going to come to our seventh posture, which is called storing chi. So again, remember, observe posture, take a moment, monitor the body, monitor the energy. You notice my chi ball hasn't been disrupted yet. And now I'm going to go down as though I'm gathering, but I'm not bending down this time. I'm just gathering Earth's energy. And I'm drawing and storing that energy inside of my body. Heaven, all the chakras, think about all the chakra systems. Think about the electric system, the auric field, the Celtic weave, the radiant circuit. I'm extending, gathering, and I'm storing this energy. I'm bringing my chi ball back to my heart center, heart mind space, and I'm transforming. So everything that we have learned, all the energies that's emanating from thought patterns, from belief systems, from emotions, from relationships, from hurts and pains and traumas that has accumulated in my energy bodies over the years, over the lifetimes. All of it has come to surface, and I'm transforming that energy, transmuting that energy. So you can play with your chi ball and make big, as long as you keep the palms facing each other. Just go with the flow. And I keep my hands right by my heart. I draw my left hand back, and I'm gathering again of all of life force energy, because I need all the energy that there is to help me on my journey. And I'm extending my right hand behind, gathering from the universe. I've gathered from the earth, I've gathered from the heavens. I'm gathering from all around me, and I'm transforming this energy inside of me. So all the negativity now becomes light and love and radiance and purity. I can see with more divine eyes. I can see the bigger picture. I can judge less of myself and others. I'm tapping into that wonderful energy source of all of these things inside of me, these patternings inside of me. I'm rebuilding, I'm recreating a new me. And then I'm going into the dissolving phase. So bring the hands up and just dissolve in the chi. You can bend the knees a little bit further. Come into your chi ball. You can do the wu chi here if you'd like. But just dissolve in chi. Before we do that, let's do the microcosmic orbit. So continuing to transform all the chakras, cleansing, purifying, microcosmic orbit. The Tai Chi channel, which is the front meridian, the central meridian. Think about the governing meridian along the spinal column. All the memories stored in each of those chakras being cleansed, purified, and transformed, all the energies transformed. And now I dissolve in chi. Chi is just radiating and radiating inside of me. From the heavens above to the earth beneath, to my heart, mind, space. I am clearing, rebuilding, recreating, restructuring. I am bursting through that cocoon. And now we've become the beautiful butterfly. We've earned our wings, and it's time to take flight. And so now wherever you are, with the full force of the heaven, the earth, and your heart energy, just place your palms outward into the universe, into all our friends gathered on Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, wherever they are, as we share this energy with our world, every patient, every healthcare worker, every essential worker on the front line. We send them our love, we send them energies. We ask for the healing of each and every person, mind, heart, and soul. We ask for the healing of our planet. We ask for the healing of our world. Bring a world's view in your mind's eye, and just bring healing and light force energy, God's energy, healing energy to every nook and cranny of this earth, creating cleansing, purifying, removing all the destructive forces, rebuilding, recreating, reconstructing. Bring your hands back in front of your hearts. Let's shift our weight once more to our right leg. Lift our left leg as we close our session, bringing our hands back to our heart space in form of Gasha, as we thank all the divine forces, light and love, peace and joy that we have received, awakening inside of us, all the wonderful supportive energies that we have received from the universe. Let the sound radiate through you, every chakra, every energy system. And you celebrate the new you that has broken through the shackles of your cocoon, and welcome your wings, and may you fly. Experience your freedom, inner and outer, and may we all become the best version of ourselves that we can be. Ever grateful, all of you that have gathered today, ever grateful to the Guru, of course, all the divine masters that have helped us in our session today. We thank each and every source of energy and life force that continues to work in and through us. May we continue to be lights onto our world. May we continue to help ourselves. May we continue to build ourselves. May we never have enmity for each other, with each other, but continue to be nourished and strengthened by this divine life force energy that we call Chi, Prana, God, consciousness, however you refer to it. We thank all our guardian angels for supporting us and looking after us and all our loved ones. Bring your hands to your third eye with love, devotion. As you give thanks, exhaling, bring your hands back to your heart. Deep breath into the heart. Exhaling, open it up and bring it down to your lower dantian. And then just drift in that space. Just drift, pause, and observe. And for those of you in the hall, I apologize for a few more minutes, but you can now drift into your meditative space. I thank you for all joining. I thank the AV team for working with us, and for everyone around the world. Be safe, social distance, but stay connected. Namaskar, everyone.